everyone, welcome again to K Podcast. So I don't know if you guys have actually heard this news of the US actually, approving the synthetic meat, lab grown meat, by the way. Now, this was approved while we were talking about the submarine issue. I mean, I don't understand one thing with government. Every time there is a small chaos, they are always doing something. They are always passing laws or actually approving things that makes no sense. I do understand that a lot of people are like they want to cut down on natural meat. No, it's giving me the some people want to make money with this synthetic meat without even caring. A lot of people want to make money. They want to cash out with this meat. And very soon, if people start consuming and agree and go with this particular product that they are going to be putting on the shelf, I'm going to tell you something. The only people that will be eating natural meat is probably going to be the rich, because later on, they might actually make actual natural meat very expensive and be like, you can only eat natural meat, if you're wealthy, because that is what I'm actually seeing, and giving people all this synthetic food. I'm not somebody that I support anything synthetic, especially when you have to consume it, when we as human beings got to consume it. I do not trust anything that is grown in the lab. I prefer it to grow in nature, because that is how nature provides. And another thing is, okay, if they are so worried about food production and all of this, why not create a farm? Why not create bigger farms? Now, I'm going to just bring up this video over here from this man that was actually very concerned about this particular product. And then I'm going to be giving you guys my own, my own side. I'm going to be actually commenting on and giving you guys my own thought on this particular product, because I feel like a lot of people need to be alert. And that is one thing I like about having my own YouTube channel, because I feel like, yes, if I do find something that I am not happy and I feel like it might be something that the public needs to know, I'm definitely going to use my platform to do that. So let me bring him up here.
This is not a joke. While Americans have been distracted by a rich guy who got lost in a submarine, quietly in the shadows, U.S. regulators approved the sale of synthetic lab-grown meat to the American public. This is not a parody. This is not a joke. Let's get into it. In this article from the Associated Press titled, U.S. approves nation's first lab-grown meat, chicken made from animal cells, it talks about how two California companies got the approval to sell this shit to us. So I'm thinking to myself, who could be that powerful to convince US regulators to sell us synthetic lab-grown meat?
Now, I'm gonna say this. I'm just gonna give my own thoughts here. It's a greedy person that doesn't want to do the job. It's a greedy person that thinks that the rest of the, and you already, I think he's gonna tell you, he's a very famous person. He's somebody that is money hungry and never stops, and he has had a lot of negative, results over his crops and every other thing that he's been selling. I don't understand why this particular man, this billionaire, cannot focus on what I thought he was a computer engineer or something, somebody that does something with the software engineer or something. That's how he got rich. Now, I don't understand why this particular man is going into food industry and medicine and all of that. And all the time he comes out, there is always a negative result. A lot of people are complaining. And yet, this is particularly, they're going to be putting out meat. Like, I wouldn't trust that meat. In fact, I don't trust anything that doesn't come from nature. I'm sorry. I'm not eating any synthetic nothing. So let's continue.
And it's none other than our good buddy, Billy Boy Blue, who's been the primary investor in companies that are trying out different synthetic meats for us to enjoy. He's also one of the majority shareholders in Impossible Meats. So I'm thinking, this guy's just a computer wizard. He's not a nutritionist. He's not a scientist. Could he be after consolidating the food supply? I don't know. But what I do know is that Bill Gates is the largest private farmland owner in the United States. Not Jimbo, who comes from a long line of farmers, a tech billionaire. And you know what he's doing with this land? Nothing. everything that was once growing on it. America, you should be very, very concerned right now with what is going on in the background while they keep flashing this billionaire who got lost in a submarine for the past few days, nonstop. Do you know that they just caught 123 people on the terrorist watch list trying to cross the border in Mexico? Something big is coming, or else all of the media networks wouldn't have agreed to show us this bullshit while our country is falling apart.
I totally agree with him because there are a lot of laws that are being made, especially when something like this, like the submarine issue, every little thing that you see going viral. Because I told you guys, like in my For You page in TikTok, I couldn't breathe. I like every second post was about that submarine, and I'm like, what is up? Is it that a lot of people are not posting any other thing, and why is it the every time I try to swipe, it's always about the submarine? It's always about, and I'm like, something big is going on, and this is the thing I always knew because every time something big goes on, we get news like this, we get something like this. Now I'm gonna bring up this particular lady that is actually very skilled in this particular part, and let her speak her mind because she also talked about religious reasons why people might not actually consume this meat. And I don't understand why Billy Boy Gates feel like, he has to be in every sector in the business. I really don't.
Huge ethical questions to it and not.
The U.S. approved the sale of lab-grown meat made from animal cells for the first time.
This actually has huge ethical questions to it and not the way you would think. Hi, my name is Evan. I'm a bioethicist, and I did my thesis on misinformation, disinformation, and conspiracy theories as a threat to public health. So the news that recently came out in the last week was that there was an approval to sell this lab-grown chicken, protein essentially, and I think other meats are in the works, and that there's a couple restaurants in DC that have been cleared to also start preparing this and selling it as like part of dishes. Now, I know what you're thinking.
And I'm pretty sure they're not gonna be putting those restaurants name out there like that. They just like, oh, there are some restaurants. People be careful in DC right now. Which kind of restaurants you're going to? You don't know what kind of meat that they are cooking. I mean, at first we don't even know from what farm first, and now you're gonna be eating something that is synthetic, like literally lab grown. You don't know what kind of chemicals they use in growing that meat. That meat has never lived, nor has it ever died. It's just something that they grow, something that was never alive or died. It just grew like that. I'm just saying, in my own perspective, be careful what kind of restaurant you're eating at because you never know. They might be selling this meat very cheap for the restaurant, and many people want to make money.
You're going to think that I'm going to say, what is the implication of this in terms of the ethics around like animal research and animal production and process? And that's actually not the issue or the question I have. The big ethical struggle that's going to occur here is with cultural preparation of meats. The intent behind this lab grown or produced meat is to cut down on a lot of the unethical practices that happen in like factory meat production spaces, right? And that's a whole like series of videos unto itself. So we won't get into the details of what those issues are. It's also to make meat production more affordable, supposedly, if we can reproduce the results in a way that has like low cost overhead. But what does this mean for cultural understanding and preparation of meat? A big win for a product like this would to have it be in commercial settings so that they get large scale contracting, and that would be places like prisons and hospitals, for example, because those are huge, huge food contracts. But places like prisons and hospitals have very large numbers of all different people from all different walks of life that have a legal right to have their religions and their belief systems respected. And quite a few of those cultures or religions have very specific rules around the preparation of meat. Now, because this meat has never lived, That means it never has to pass away. There's no process for that. And a lot of these cultural and religious practices have very specific ways that they require that meat be unalived in order to prepare it. So if you can't unalive it, what is the implications of being able to prepare it within the requisites of these belief systems? And if you can't prepare it within these requisites, is it still kosher or halal? And that is one of the questions we have. And if there's strong disagreement on whether or not it is in those cultural and religious spaces, then would it be a violation of those people's rights and beliefs, their human rights, to feed them this meat? I don't know. It's very interesting.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. You guys let me know what you think about this particular video that I made today, because I'm gonna be making another video, because I wanted to just give you guys this particular information so that you are aware out there, you get the information. And because I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this, because I feel like people needs to hear about this and be careful of what they consume. And that is exactly why I made this particular podcast. But I think in the next 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to be doing another podcast for you guys. Now, with that being said, I'm going to say this. Let me know what you think in the commentary section. Don't forget to press the like button and subscribe. And I will see you all on the next one. Have a great day and stay safe out there and be careful.